Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is a scene for Werewolf and Changeling, Living World of Darkness, and it is Samhain! And Bentley is a Buka! So Bentley is very, very deep now into his favorite holiday of the year. He just left the chrysalis of a wee baby redcap. Oh, it was so cute. And after him and Tron got into it a little bit uh, over Ren, and the group has separated, and Bentley has shown that he's very much like the Duke from Moulin Rouge. He doesn't like people touching his things. He slips his hand into Ren's as they're walking, almost home. We'll say that. They've gotten off the subway. As Devil's Night is playing out around them, and he'll say, look, I know back there I kind of he'll just kind of blink and like kind of roll his head and say, I know I got a little bit claimy on you. I know I kind of acted like you were mine. And
she's just laughing. Like, if you want to roll peony, she does not look bothered.
I mean, like, because I know you by choice, you are mine, and I'm yours. This is the way relationships work. You're pretty much one aspect of being in a relationship is that you completely and utterly, you know, give yourself to someone, therefore thereby being theirs. But that doesn't mean that I have any right whatsoever to outright and blanket claim it like that.
No offense, Bentley, but in a room full of your slightly grabby friends tonight, I was just fine with you being grabby too.
Are you saying you have no problem with me being grabby tonight? He'll smile at her and he'll put his hands on her hips. Should have said this at the beginning of the scene. This is not a black dog scene, but it is Samhain. Get out, 18-year-old below.
She just leans in to kiss his cheekbone lightly, and she's like, yes. I'm okay with you being grabby tonight.
So, what about, I finally tied you up?
She stiffens.
Bounces a little bit.
She's like, I don't think that's going to work as well as you think it's going to.
His eyes will dance. His eyebrows start doing a tango. As in, you won't let me do it? Or as in, you don't think that if I did it, it would go well?
She has to consider that because she's not sure she knows the answer to that question.
I mean, it is about trust, and I think we've built a very good rapport, trust. Wouldn't you say?
Is he patting his eyes like that?
Yes. Everything I'm doing, he's doing. It's a lot.
It's not just about trust.
Oh, then what is it about, my dear? Tell me.
I don't like to be confined.
As I said, it's actually quite freeing.
She kind of shudders when he says that because she has a hard time imagining that it can be freeing.
He'll kind of chew his lip, and he'll say, I wish you'd let me show you. It's one of those things that's hard to explain. Why it's freeing.
It's a full moon, Bentley. I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Samhain, Ren. Of all nights that I can essentially bend the world to my whim, it's this one. And you saw, I can put Tron across a room in 3 seconds. I think I can either put myself out of harm's way or put you out of harm's way. But besides, it's rope. You're tied up. If you go wild, you're gonna have to go wild tied up.
Oh, Bentley. They're just walking along the street, right?
Yeah.
She keeps her voice low because she does not, and for any reason, want to share this conversation with anyone else.
That's why he's wording it, right? That's why he's like saying stuff.
Sure,
Like,
sure. A robe is not going to stop me if I get moon mad. Oh, don't do that.
What if I didn't do all of you? Just your hands or your feet?
Okay.
There are different stages, and there are different ways of doing it.
Not my feet.
It doesn't have to be not your feet. He'll basically kind of get to their door with her and open it up. And he'll kind of go inside, and he, by this point, makes himself a good, potent drink. That consuming has to happen.
She closes the door behind him and locks it. All of the locks.
All 90 of them.
All 90 of them. And she's watching him very intently. She kind of cut back on the watching when Astria went for the whole, we'll just go ahead and enchant her thing. But Ren is definitely taking it in now. This is important for her to remember as far as she's concerned. Because this is important information.
Yeah, he basically makes himself a very strong drink. He'll take a few sips of it. He'll make her a drink, but she can tell he didn't enchant it. He didn't. It seems even tonight that's a line he will not cross.
Fair enough. And she definitely looks more than enough intrigued by him. He doesn't need to enchant it to have her attention.
Yeah, the look he has on his face is it is a savage handsome he's got working tonight. Like that.
Oh, you're Savage Bunny.
You're Savage Bunny, just like the bunny from Monty Python. So he'll kind of like get a few sips of the drink in, and he'll say, I think one of the most important things about doing something like this, and takes a bit of the edge of the fear off, which I don't want you to feel, is understanding why. Knowledge can sometimes strip away a lot of our fear. Do you know why I do this?
You've told me. You showed me pictures. They looked lovely.
As I said, when you do it with somebody you trust, you can let your mind float. Kind of give yourself over to somebody else and just kind of let. He actually looks like he's kind of like his mind's. It looks as though it's something meditative for him, as I've said before, and it looks like it does slip him into that meditative state even talking about it.
Is he standing close to her?
Mm-hmm.
She reaches out and kind of like sets her fingertips on his hips. It like she reaches out to do it and then she stops herself and then does it. Like she has to make sure that her hands are safe.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a vault thing. It's not good when my people let ourselves go.
I know.
Okay.
But there's one thing that you've never ever considered. That I might be fantastically masochistic. And you might be the perfect one to rip this canvas of flesh that I have clean open.
She yanks her hands off of his hips so fast and steps back.
He takes a deep breath, realizing what he just said, and just kind of clenches his jaw as like that was something he did not want to say, and kind of opens his eyes sadly at her.
She reaches out for his hand, just kind of clasps his hand in her hand. I can't be that for you.
I know. And to be honest, I need to not have someone like that. I really don't think you realize what I've been through and what I went through and what. He kind of shudders. I don't think you realize what I was made to do. What it was. He kind of closes his eyes again and takes another deep, breath.
Do you say you don't think that I realize because you think that I don't understand?
No, I know you understand. I can see it in your eyes. I have a feeling that you suffered a very similar upbringing as I did.
I don't know about similar, but there were similarities.
Being forced to do things that you didn't want to do for other people and feeling as though you were nothing but a cast out?
No, mine was different.
What was yours?
You were raised maybe by monsters, and I was the monster.
Done things for other people. Enjoyed it. Knowing what I was doing was wrong. But craving the power of doing it. And hiding behind the responsibility of other people's claiming those deeds. No less what monsters than you. We just choose not to be. But I've seen the look in a man's eyes as he's died. On my hand. I've done things worse than that. I'm not proud of it. But I walked away from it, and I chose not to be that person anymore. Just as you've chosen to rise above your nature.
I don't know how about chosen, but I was granted a reprieve, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Well, I don't think anybody's compelling you to be the kind-hearted person you are.
She blinks.
It's something you chose to do.
All right, that's fair. Huh.
So you're not really a monster. A monster chooses to hurt people, to put their own wants before others, to be selfish, to sow strife and discord for their own amusement.
That's one kind of monster. The other kind just does it without being able to stop themselves.
Is that really a monster? Or is the society deemed that that's a monster?
The effect is the same. It's a monster.
Well, you, my dear, I don't think you're a monster at all. Or if you are, you're my amazing monster.
Oh. I hope I will never be your monster.
My beloved monster and me. We do everything together. She's gonna lean in and nuzzle her nose.
Kind of pulling back again, like she's very uncomfortable with thinking of herself as a monster. Very uncomfortable. So when he leans in to nuzzle her, she's moving away, and she has to stop herself and hold still for him to do that.
He'll kind of wrap his arms around her and catch her almost. And he'll say, whatever you are, you're mine. And I accept that no matter what. I hope one day you learn that.
What? Sorry, say the last bit again?
He says, I hope one day you learn that.
I hope you what?
Learn that. But remember, Puka, some of what he's saying is lies. And it seems like that one was probably brushing along the line of lie.
She's not really concerned. She's anyway, she's not concerned if he claims her. She's not afraid of Bentley, though she probably should be.
Especially tonight. He'll kind of walk over to the drawer where you know how some houses have drawers that aren't like dressers but like drawers for keeping stuff in the house in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has one of those, and he'll kind of walk over and pull out he kind of goes through. He's got like a couple of bundles of different types of ropes in there, and he'll basically pull out a smaller bundle of a thinner type of rope. It's red, and he'll kind of think about it for a second, and he'll switch to a black one instead. And he'll kind of come over and he'll say, "This is silk. Silk is made to be flexible, soft, and easy for you to wiggle out of if you want to stop."
She's plopped herself down on the couch, and she's just sitting there with her elbows on her knees, and her hands just kind of hanging loosely.
Okay. He'll kind of like almost mirror her posture, sitting across from her, with like his feet basically almost kind of like by her bum and like hip, to where they're kind of sitting a little bit like this, basically. You see what I mean?
Sure.
And he'll pick her hands up, and he basically uncurls he'll undo the rope and let it like fall. It doesn't appear to be a very long length. This kind is made like specifically for hands, and he'll kind of lean in and like kiss her hand and then pick it up, and basically he makes like a figure 8 around both of her wrists with it. He'll slip 2 of his fingers into the loop to make sure that it's not too tight, and very like carefully and slowly he leaves about a good 6 inches tailing off towards her hands, and then he begins to make that figure 8 pattern up her arms. But again, he's doing it very slowly and not so much sensually, although there is a sensuality to it. He's doing it with a lot of focus and care, and she might be caught off guard with how much attention he's paying to her and to her responses to it, to basically how she feels about it. And he just works the rope kind of up her forearms, about halfway up. And then he begins to very carefully, like, kind of cinch it a little bit to where it pulls it a little bit tighter, but it's not very much at all. And again, because it's silk rope, it's very flexible. She can kind of move it a little bit, and he'll start to kind of weave the rope between the figure 8s that he made, to where the tip of the rope comes back to that tail, and he takes the little tail that's kind of sitting out from the weaving and carefully ties it off, and then tucks that into the weave to where she basically just has what look like gauntlets, like rope gauntlets on her arm, basically.
Rin has not taken her eyes off him since he reached out and took her hand the first time. Like, they are glued on his face. If he ever looks up, she has not once looked away from his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
If he were another wolf, there would probably have been some kind of staring contest involved. But he's not, and it's not something that she has ever... She was ready to totally disown her hands and let him do what he wanted, but his care has kind of drawn her back into herself, and she's very intent, very focused on what the fuck he's doing. She kind of pulls away at least once, and then sits still.
Yeah, if she pulls away or if she does anything, he instantly yields to what she's doing and lets her resettle, basically, so that she can relax. He understands that if he doesn't allow her to pull away, since that's not the type of arrangement that they have right now, it's going to make her panic. It's going to make her worse, and that's not what he's going for. So anything she does, pulls away, makes any sign that she wants him to stop, he immediately stops and lets her it's basically the yellow zone for him, and he lets her basically recenter herself, and then she realizes that she is actually 100% in control. Although
Sure.
he's doing something, she is the one that is in control right now. So it's up to you how she reacts to that.
She sits there and is amused and intrigued. This is totally new.
Yeah,
She
so
does
he'll
say,
say,
"We're not telling Astrea about this."
he looks at her as though there's something he could have said, and his eyes are holding so much. And he'll bite his nails, nod. Okay.
Can I be any of that?
Sure.
Seems legit.
Seems legit.
Okay, so she gets nothing. She's just totally
Yeah. He'll
not
smile
paying.
and nod at her, and he'll say, of course. I won't say a word to Astra. Although
She nods.
her and I have been, I'll kind of think about it for a moment, and he'll say, no, just something seems different between us.
Didn't something happen to Julian's girlfriend?
Yeah.
You mentioned that
For a
maybe
while.
he's trying not to rebound.
Yeah, I've wondered that. Although rebounding on a man who doesn't want to sexually engage you would be kind of hard. We kind
Well,
of
people have
smile.
done stupider stuff.
Look, I'll be honest. I do I care for Astrid very much. I love her in a way. But we he just kind of shrugs and thinks, and he's like, I don't I don't have feelings like that for her. Not anything that I'd certainly tie her up to my bed and do some interesting things to her. I'll smile. And with you, oh God, my Lord, the things I'd do to the both of you. But involving us, me and her, there's nothing there. And I don't think there ever will be. Mainly because, I'm kind of taken. kind of in that place where I don't want to be with anyone else. Oh, oh my. I have neglected this so badly. This is so important. I have forgotten. I'll grab her hands. My darling. Will you marry me?
Not tonight, Bentley.
Well, yeah, because there's a 3-day period, but yeah, I get you.
But this is the first time I've ever been tied up and proposed to.
I'm really glad that. Yeah, I'm glad for that. So, how is it?
It's nice rope.
It's a nice room. I know.
Is he still holding her hands?
Yeah.
She just kind of squeezes his fingers gently. She's really not quite sure what to do with her arms, her hands.
I could do something from here, but I don't think you're ready for that.
From here?
You could be suspended with that tie.
She was about to be like, no, fuck no. And then she's like, wait. And like she's thinking about, like she looks at it really closely and she's like, this would hold my weight?
Yes, that's actually what that tie is for.
Huh. Interesting.
He'll go over to the wall, and he'll kind of look up at it, at the roof, and there's a ring that's set into the wall about like his chest height. It's a very thick, heavy ring that's set into like one of the supporting beams, and he'll he'll go over to the case and like to the drawer, and he'll he'll pull out one of the stronger ropes, and he'll go over to like the rafters. He'll like look up at the rafters, and he'll take the rope and he'll fling it over the rope, like the rafter, and like let it kind of drop down to the other side, and he'll do like this. He'll go like this to her.
She's watching him, and she is torn. She sits there for probably a good 7-8 seconds after he gestures like that. Then she pulls herself to her feet and walks slowly towards him.
He gives her the absolute most sexy, smoldering look that I can't pull because I'm not David Gandy. Similar to the one in the overlay. How about that? And the rope, she realized part of the reason it was so easy for him to throw over is because there is a it's like a D-ring. You know, the things that like clip. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll take her hands, and on the first two, like the first two that were snaked over,
mm-hmm.
he'll slip it into that. And he'll take her hands, and the rope itself, the big one that he has, he'll tell her to grab it like to hold it like that, basically. Like, her hands are like this, basically. He'll put the rope between and he'll tell her to hold it like that.
Her breathing is getting a little unsteady now. She does.
He'll lean over.
Still doesn't take her eyes off of his face.
Yeah, he'll lean over, and he'll kind of like run his hand along her cheek very gently, and he'll say, "I'd never hurt you. You know that. You're safe. Now, if you want me to stop, say the word blue."
Blue, like the color?
Like the color, that's right. Say the word blue.
Okay.
And he'll take the rope that is next to him, and he starts pulling it. And he's doing it very slow, and her hands will basically pick up, and then they'll pick up to where they're all the way stretched up, and he'll stop there with him, like right there, to where her hands, he's doing it slow for her. So now her feet are still on the floor, but she's basically, she has her body stretched up and like tight.
The set of her lips is almost like she's getting ready to bare her teeth, but she lets it happen and keeps watching him.
Now he'll say, "Now, I want you to take a deep breath, and when I start pulling the rope again, I want you to let it out slowly. All right?
No, don't pull my feet off the ground.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say?"
Blue.
Okay. But there is something fun about being like that. He kind of walks away from her, but very slowly. And he's keeping the most meticulous fucking eye on her. If he sees her getting to anything or like that, that rope's getting dropped out of his hand to where it would free her hands. But he'll go and he'll very carefully hitch tie the rope on the ring. Basically to where he doesn't have to support its weight anymore. And he'll walk back over to her, and his fingertips will basically drag down her stomach. And he gives her a rather fun look.
Well, he's tying off the rope. It's the first time that she looks away from him.
Hmm.
And it's not until after she figures out what he's doing, and then she looks up and kind of tests the rope with her wrists to see how she feels about it and whether or not she has to bring the house down.
Okay, here's the deal. With a silk shibari rope like this, she can't pull out of it. She can't wrench her hands out of it. But her hands have a lot of flexibility. It wouldn't feel, there's a lot of give in silk rope. So it's not quite as confining and it's very light. So it doesn't feel quite so like claustrophobic, basically. She has a little bit of room that she can wiggle her wrists. But she couldn't really pull her wrists out unless she knew how.
Or used a gift, which she has a
Or
couple.
yes, there are gifts that she could use as well. Or she could shift. That would fucking break the rope. So all she has to do is shift, to be honest, and she's out. But they ain't dedicated to her. So I have a character, by the way, really quickly, as an aside, who dedicates ropes to himself so that he can do shibari while in Cremus, shifting up and down through his forms. I am a freak. We now know this. So that being said, it's I get it. You're testing, so that's fine. But he does tie it off, and when he comes back over, he kind of very gently like runs his fingertips down her abdomen. The rope is the end of the rope that he tied off is nearby him. Like he trailed it back over to him and set it down on the floor near him. So, how's this?
This is fine. This isn't bad.
One day, if you want, there's a way. There are many ways, but there's a simple way to suspend somebody in the air, like all the way aloft, that doesn't require a lot of confining ties. It uses silk scarves.
She
Talk about like floating.
glances up at her hands and kind of twists a little bit. I'm not sure I like not being able to touch you.
Oh well, in and of itself, there is some fun in that. And his brow kind of raises.
I don't
And
think
he'll,
I'll ever be okay with suspension.
that's fine. You've actually done more tonight than I expected you would. He'll kind of lean over and playfully kiss her stomach, although there is an edge of not being so playful in it. Though I will admit, I think I'm done with you being tied up and tangled right now with my ropes. I would much prefer if I got you out of this mess and tangled you up with myself instead.
That sounds wonderful.
What he does is he bends down and he picks up the tail of long rope that he has going from the thing, and he gives it a quick jerk. And it was a hitch tie, so it comes right out. And it just goes, and if she pulls, he doesn't even have to do anything. She can pull her own hands down, basically.
She does, and she reaches out to stroke his face with, like, the backs of her knuckles, just lightly along his brow.
He'll bend down and duck and come up within the circle of her arms. And actually, I think with his height and hers, he might pick her up like that if he
I was gonna
stands up.
say, because her arms are not gonna go over his shoulders.
Yeah, I think it would go over his neck, and he would end up picking her up. So he'll kind of playfully pick her up like that, and he'll say, "Well, you might leave your hands tied." He'll kind of nibble at her lip, and then he'll reach behind himself, like back like this, and start untying her hands while he's watching her, freeing her hands up. Well,
Are you gonna remember this tomorrow?
perfectly. Now, To our bed?
To our bed.
You know, I don't think I will ever get tired of saying that.
Of all the people in this universe who might challenge themselves to do so and then make it happen, I can imagine you doing that.
Yep, especially since it sounds like a pirate word. Arr! Arr, bed. Come on, me wench, let's go. He'll pick her up and kind of spank her butt playfully.
And with that, I think we can end our scene.
Good night, fuckers. Bye.